Look what I found, bitches. I got one, and it is a prototype. Just kidding. If you stumbled on this video because you were looking for shit on YouTube about the new iPhone that hasn't even been announced yet, you probably don't want to listen to the rest of this. But to everybody who usually posts to this channel and with whom I vlog, are we vlogging or are we just corresponding? I don't know. I'm testing our theory about whether or not the titles drive traffic, so we'll see how many views this gets. I'm going to put something about iPhone 5 in the title. This is not an iPhone 5, iPhone 4. But it has my notes on what I'm going to talk about. This is actually the second time I started this because my third point, I took like 4 minutes on it, over explaining it like I do, so I'm not even going to talk about it. So second point, after testing the title theory, was, this is for Aaron. Yesterday, on my way back from Chicago, I checked into my flight on my phone and then used my phone as my boarding pass. So I never had a printed boarding pass. I don't know what these colors are. I feel like it's because I made the unfortunate fucking curtain shirt clashing. Ugh! Stop it. What happens if we go over there? Okay, that's better. Where does Sojourn fit into the picture when I use a mobile boarding pass? I'm sure you have people who are considering that. As we fucking speak, somebody from Sojourn is in, like, late at the office, like, pulling hair out, fucking tie, because I'm sure everybody there wears ties, askew, like, sweating, pit stains. Mobile boarding passes, what do we do? And somebody walks in and goes, "Get a hold of yourself, Bob." The third point that I'm not going to spend 4 minutes on is it just says tech savvy question mark. This is a general question. I will not even tell the scenario that takes 4 minutes to describe why I'm asking this. Directed more at Aaron, do you find that you are tech savvy to a point where there's a disconnect between you and not the common folk, but the people that you have to interact with, or more importantly, share a common tech environment with in your house, like your cohabitator? You have a surround sound system. I know this because of recent interaction, or recent social media interaction. Do you find that you get things set up and they're all cool, and then only to discover that your partner can't navigate the murky waters of your setup? I almost have that here, but what I have is a little more complex, and it's understandable when it becomes messed up, but it never gets messed up for me. So, and to the ladies on the thing, do you? I know Erica's basically a Luddite, and Angie, I know you're not all that into it. Uh-oh, I'm going to be interrupted here by my lady friend, so it's a good thing I'm stopping talking about this now. Do you find that you have trouble with it? And lastly, I'm just wrapping up here. Don't mind me. I have to comment on Aaron's story about Walmart and the girl flirting. Possibly like you, Aaron, even though you had a girlfriend in high school, you didn't have girlfriends. And we might have gone through the same sort of lack of self-confidence with women bit through life, where, you know, you're skinnier, not good at sports in high school, just doesn't really prepare you to pick up chicks. But I also have an issue with identifying and properly reacting to when a female may or may not be flirting with me. I never really know, and sometimes I think they are when they're not. Actually, I think a lot of guys do that, so that's more typical. But I do have 2 quick stories from this weekend in Chicago. One, at a bar with the Bachelor, and we had him in a weird hat, so people, you know, it was easy. It's easy to talk to people when you're in a weird hat. A group of girls were talking to him. One girl was hanging all over, and the rest of us sort of approached and found out that this girl was completely wasted, and just kind of like doing the drunk girl talk to the Bachelor of our group. And then figured out that the reason he had the hat and the stuff going on, and a shirt that said "free hugs," by the way, was that he was a bachelor on a bachelor party. And so she turns, and he was somebody else was talking to him. She turns to me, still kind of hanging on. It was like, well, "Is he really getting married?" I'm like, "Oh yes, we're all out to celebrate his pending doom." And she's like, oh, okay. Are you getting married? And I go, no. And she goes, oh, where are you from? And I may have mentioned this story yesterday. I'm like, I'm from Boston. Oh, like in New York? And then that started the whole rest of the night with everybody in our group telling people I was from Boston, New York. So in other words, she was dumb. But then she kind of hopped to other guys. So that was one pretty obvious, like, she just wanted dick. And then at another bar later, a girl came up and was talking to our group. And I have no idea how this came up, but I was speaking with her. And somehow the topic of like going home with someone had come up somewhere. And she's like, and you know I'm not going home with you. Like, total preemptive, which is the other side of the coin where a girl is so jaded that if she's ever talking to any guy anytime, she has to clear up with them that she's not going to fuck them. But I wasn't even, in my estimation, flirting or being that way with her. Because why would I? She was not my type. A little too much cushion for my pushing. So yeah, Aaron, do you have trouble always identifying when somebody's flirting? I think that girl probably was being cutesy, patootsy. But those were two instances where I had no problem identifying what was going on with the girl. Now I reach right over here next to the couch that I'm sitting on into my beer fridge.